So I got preferences opened, and let's say I go here. Might get some pops and clicks as I do this. This is just for demonstration. You can put the beat on, someone can rap the song, and it's in the MPC, and then you're free. Okay, that's kind of whack. So in reality, I just showed you how it works. It's pretty cool, easy to do, and sort of fun if you got your headset on. But the point here being that we have a reset peak. Too loud, reset the peak again, so start recording it again, put it on, and then bam, there it is. A new peak has been set right here. Now I want to talk about sampling before we start sampling. Now here we have record arm, so we can record left and right. Now if you're using a microphone, you're not recording in stereo, okay? So you're going to have just one side plugged in, the left or right plugged in, right? You're going to record that only. We have our input source here. This could be external source or a resample. We have our input monitor. That means we're going to listen back to the signal coming in. Our sample length. We got our sample to record and then to tell it to stop. And we have our reset peak. But before we do all this, we must check out our preferences. So we go here into the MPC on the menu bar, go to preferences and open it up. And the first option is audio. Now as before, I'm using built-in output to send directly to me here. And then the input, if I had a bass guitar or a guitar player come in or a microphone, I would use the input in the back of the MPC, right? And my active input is 1 and 2. And to test it, we just go right here to test our input. Now in this case, I'm going to use a microphone, my built-in microphones I talk to you here doing this video. And as I talk, you can see that the LEDs here are rising as I say something, and when I stop, it goes back down. But there is some sort of room noise always. Now also, we must pick a sample rate. Now I like to use high sample rates actually, because I get the high end fidelity, and the bottom I get the full range. But if your system is not that fast, you haven't got that much memory, and you also have to keep these files on your computer, they might be big files if I use 96 Hertz. So 44.1 is good too as well. Then there's the audio buffer size. Now I want to talk about audio buffer size. So what happens here is that when I talk, and then the computer has to figure out the signal's coming in, and then record it. It's latency. It's not going to happen automatically. There's a time difference between the time I say something and the time the computer plays it back to us. And this is known as latency. Now, lower values will result in a more immediate playback response. But it's going to be a lot of consumption of CPU power. Be aware of that. So if you're working with like large projects and you got a problem, you will have pops and clicks occurring with lower latency settings. Now, for example here, you'll see we have different settings. Now at 64 samples, I only have 1.5 milliseconds worth of latency. At the higher range, at 1984 samples, we're going to have 45.0 milliseconds. So I guess the best way is probably, let me go in the middle somewhere here. I'll press OK. I'm going to go here and going to, let's see, this is in stereo, input monitor, and you can hear me. And it's going to be a little latent. And here's that noise in the background. Yeah, okay, you hear that. So look, I'm going to go back over to preferences. And here are preferences again. And I'm going to go here and lower it. Now, how's that sound? That sounds a lot better, right? It's real close, much better.